I'm Danny at Ghost of the Steel Rubber Products. We just finished putting on all new weather stripping on this 87 Chevy. We've got new belt lines, new run channel, vent windows, door weather stripping. We're going to break down all those pieces and show you how to install each one. Tools we're going to need for this job: we're going to need a drill, a ratchet set and some ratchets, tuck tools, they're always helpful no matter what job you're doing, screwdriver, some pliers, a rivet gun, 10 snips because the rubber has a little bit of metal in it, WD-40, some adhesive remover. You never know what you're going to get into whenever you start pulling that stuff off, and some paper towels just to help clean all that stuff up. We've got our door part on this 1987 Chevy. We want to go ahead and take care of all the weather stripping stuff that we've got going on that we can get to while that door skin's off. So we've got our door weather stripping, our belt line and run channel, and in this video we're going to do our vent window. So the vent window is held in with a screw, 3 screws down this post, and 1 bolt down at the bottom on your door skin. So we can take those off. The vent window, the whole frame assembly comes back and slips out to the outside, and then we can replace our rubber. So we can go ahead and take this vent window frame out. We've removed these screws, we've undone this bolt. So the main point is we've still got the window in here, but we want to bring this window back. So you might have to work with it a little bit, but it does come free. Here you're rotating the window in because there's a bracket on the bottom of the vent window that has a hook on it. So as it comes up, it has to spin to get out between where your door skin and inner door frame meet. Chevy and GM are using 2 different kinds of vent window weather strippings in this generation. There is a 1-piece style where the division post and the main seal is all one piece. It goes in one continuous piece. And then there's a 2-piece style where the division post and the main seal are separate, where this vertical piece and the main seal are 2 different pieces. And from what I can tell, they're not relatable, so you can't switch them out. So we know that this is a 1-piece. We've got our 1-piece seal we're going to use to replace it. So we'll drill out this rivet, undo this spring assembly, take the window out, replace the rubber, and get it looking good as new. So we're going to undo this spring assembly. I got a little bit of WD-40 on there to loosen the nut up. And you're just going to want to make sure whenever you're undoing this that you keep the small components in the right order. And then we're going to drill out this rivet. So now that we've taken out the rivet at the pivot point and the spring assembly, we can take the glass out of the frame by rotating it and pulling up on it. Almost. There we go. All right, so here you can see where we thought it was 1 piece. But as we took apart the other vent window, we actually found out it was a 2-piece. So one way you can always tell is to peel back this channel and find out on the back side of this division post if there's slots here for the division post to go through, or if it's flat. If it's got the slots, it's a 2-piece. If it's flat, it's the 1-piece. right, so we've got our vent window frame here all cleaned up and all the rubber taken out of everything, the channel removed out of the back. So now we're going to replace it. We've got our new piece here, and just like it is from the factory, the piece is designed with an inner edge that goes into the channel of the vent window frame, and it's just held in with pressure. So we will start at our pivot holes, make sure they're lined up, work our way around, and go from there. It's real helpful to have a plastic tuck tool and maybe some soapy water to help lubricate things. So now that we've got the rubber in our vent window frame, everything's seated properly all the way around, our pivot holes are lined up so we can put the window back in. We need to install our division post seal that goes right here that seals it whenever the window's closed. And this attaches with some tabs that go through the channel, and those tabs just bend over to hold in place. And what I like to do is bend the top tabs up, bend the lower tabs down, so then there's no way it can shift. Basically, just taking a pair of pliers, grabbing onto the tab, pulling it to make sure it's all the way seated, and then pulling up on it. All right, so now we can put our window in. So we've got our two washers that came out underneath the window installed there, so I can drop this directly in. Got the window lined up, put it underneath that point, and then we can essentially, at this point we're test fitting it. We can see how it sits nicely against the seal all the way around. So we'll go ahead, put the rest of the assembly on. Now that we've got our vent window complete, while we have it out, now's the time to go ahead and put the run channel in that goes behind the vent window. You can see this piece has a molded corner. It's also got the clip that comes with it. So there is a left and a right. This one is the driver's side. The clip goes right up around this tab of metal, and you'll be able to bend that over whenever it's completely in place. And the rest of this channel just gets pushed in. So I've got it halfway sunk in now. I'll go back and make sure it's all the way tucked in. And glass rides right through there. We've got our vent window frame back in. Essentially, it goes in just the way it came out. You turn it 90 degrees so you can get that bracket section through the gap between the door skin and the door inner frame. And whenever you get the chance to, you turn it back around and the bracket ends up right back where you put it. So this just goes right back in. I'm not going to tighten it down fully until we got all of our other screws set. So then we're setting in 3 screws that are held into this pillar. And then we can tighten down that bolt at the bottom. All right, so another part about this is we're going to tuck in this channel. There's a channel built into the door that this run channel is going to go through. There's a clip here that goes up into a hole. And the other thing about this channel is there is a space, a notch cut out right here that goes around this inner bracket. So we want to make sure those are lined up. And other than that, it'll just get tucked right in. We'll feed the excess down into the door. Making sure we stay where it needs to be. That's where these tuck tools really come in handy. So as we get down to the door, this part's a little bit trickier. What we're going to want to do is line up the channel, the run channel here, with the channel of the door. And then we're going to use the glass to help us seat everything in place. All right, so the trickiest part is to get the bottom edge of this run channel down into the bottom. So the way we can do that is as we feed it down, we'll try to stay as close to that channel as possible. And then use this inner hole to guide us where we need to be. And then as we get as far down as we can, we'll bring the window up, go down in here. Once the window's up, we'll be able to reach down farther, finish putting it in the channel, and should be good to go. So we've got our run channel installed. We were moving the glass up and down to make sure everything was sitting in the channel. And we're all done. Now it's all sealed up, has nice new fuzzies, not going to rattle. Job well done. All right, so we've got the weather stripping off this old truck. It's nasty and corroded. After the paint job, we're definitely not going to be putting this old weather stripping back on it. So we've got the new weather stripping here. We've got a few plastic panels inside the door that we've taken off or loosened up enough to be able to slip the new weather stripping underneath. And we're ready to get going. For this door weather stripping, it's just pushed on to this metal lip that runs all the way around the door frame. We're going to start in the center of the bottom and just work our way around, pushing it onto that edge. And as you go around, you just want to make sure you're pushing it onto that edge and working it deep into the corner so they don't pull away. Again, you want to roll it up into the corner so you have the most material you can in there, so it's not stretched. And this piece of plastic is a little bit tight, but we're able to get the weather stripping underneath it and tuck it in. You just want to make sure it's sitting correctly. You can kind of feel when it goes into place. And as you can see, I'm pushing against the rubber to give it as much material as possible because you don't want it to pull from the center. It shouldn't shrink, but the more material you give it, the more pressure it's going to push together with, and that'll create a good joint. Now that we're at the end here, We're going to trim off the excess. We're going to cut it a little bit long, put those joints together, and work the excess back into the perimeter so those corners stay nice and tight and that joint stays nice and tight. I use a pair of 10 snips because there is a little bit of metal in this ridge here. So for comparison, this is what the door sounds like before the weather stripping. And this is what it sounds like with all new weather stripping. Alright, so I'm going to show you today how to install these Beltline weather strippings on this 87 Chevy truck. This style is real easy. The clips come pre-installed in the rubber and they line up directly with the holes in the car. So you can see we have the inner and the outer belt lines right here. The outer has the lip that you always see, you know, it's for deflecting the water. And the inner actually has a lip that comes out from the bottom. So I'll show you how to install both of these. The tab here and the hole that it's going to go into here. So just this middle prong is what's going to slide in there, and it just clips right in. And we will go down the line here and do the same thing all the way down. Make sure it's seated all the way. And it's that easy to do the outer. Now that we have our run channel in and our outer belt line, we can install our inner belt line. And our inner belt line installs right on this door panel. Just like the outer, it's installed with these clips, and the clips have a little space in them that fits over this ledge on the door panel. And you can see where the holes are and that the clips line up. And basically you just have to line up the holes, place the clip on the inside of that lip I just showed you, and press up. You can hear it lock into place, and that's installed. So now we're ready to put this back on the door and finish the job up. So we got our door panel back on. Now you can put your screws back in, set everything up. We got our trim pieces in place. So now we've got new door weather stripping, new vent window weather stripping, belt lines, run channel, the vertical here behind the vent window, the one for the rest of the glass that goes down into the door. So we've got all new weather stripping for this door. You can see it's not so bad. All these things are doable. It's just a little bit of effort, and it is an amazing difference in the quality of the ride, the wind noise, the rattles. It's great. And if you like this video, hit like, hit the subscribe button so you can get more how-to videos.